Hey everyone! So like the title suggests, I'm going to show you how I got Raskulls from looking like this to looking like this in Xenia Canary. Let's jump right into it. The first step is to download the emulator Xenia from the website. Xenia.jp, then go to downloads. The build we're going to be using is the Canary build for some very powerful settings that quite literally and symbolically saves this game. Save the downloadable where you want. I'm going to save it here for demonstration purposes. Then you want to open xeniacanary.exe. This will do two things. It will let you create an Xbox profile so your game can save. Go ahead and name this whatever you want. And it will also create the Xenia Canary config file, which is where the next part of our setup is. Before we open the file, I would recommend having a text editor like VS Code or Notepad++ to make your life a little easier. Now, I know this looks overwhelming at first, but I've already done the suffering for you last night, so I'll tell you the two main pieces of information that we're after. First, Control F, type license. You're going to see an integer named license_mask with a value of 0. Go ahead and set this to 1. This will take your game off of demo mode and give you the full access. Next, and this is the big one, Control F again, search clear_memory, and that should auto go to this result. Now this boolean right here, this boolean is sent from the god. This will prevent Raskulls from having any memory leaks and ruin your ability to play the game. So go ahead and set this to true. Now this next section is optional and has to do with setting up your keyboard controls. Going back to Control F, we're going to search keyboard, and that should take you to the driver compatibility section. We're looking at the integer keyboard_mode. Go ahead and set this to 1 and scroll down. So this is your control scheme. Here's an image to better visualize what it is if you want to pause. There's two things to note about this. Keyboard controls will only work if no controllers are plugged in. And second, in my testing, commenting out controls or adding more lines of code to this section will break your schema because Xenia will overwrite it. Now you could set it to read only, but that introduces further issues. Therefore, I would recommend editing what's here, and anything you don't use, bind it to a key that's away from the key scheme that you'll be using. Here's my control scheme for reference. I'll have this in the description. And here's also what it looks like visualized. Now to learn more about inputs and what hexadecimal values are pointing to what, I've also linked Microsoft's virtual key codes, which will give you everything you need to know. And finally, Raskulls doesn't have that many binds. So as you can see, it honestly translates very well into keyboard. Now for the actual installation of Raskulls plus the DLC, this is much simpler than what we just did. So first, open your downloaded Raskulls files. I have a Google Drive in my Discord, which I'll talk about in a second. Then after that, open Xenia Canary. Go to Files and press Open Content Folder. Now open the folder where you put your Raskulls contents and drag them all into the content folder. Now right click and extract it into the directory. This will create a folder, which is Raskulls Game ID. Now go back to Xenia, press File, Install Content, go into the Game ID folder, the folder with the 7 zeros and 2. Now select all of these files and hit open. Then the DLC will install. This is the DLC for an extra Grand Prix Cup and 8 new characters. And now we're ready to play. Go to File once more, Open, go to the Game ID folder. Now click the folder with the D in the middle, and then open the file that you see. What's great is now, if you go to the file, you can just open the game from recents. And if you did everything right, the game should start loading. Let's start in with our keyboard to confirm that works. Now let's go to multiplayer. And we can now confirm we have our characters. And if we select a Grand Prix, you can see we now have our 2 new DLC cups. And now you can enjoy the full game. But wait, don't go anywhere because there's one more thing I have to showcase. So I'm sure everyone is familiar with Discord. I've hosted servers for Burger Shop, Icy Tower, Super Collapse, and others. Well, now I have one for Raskulls as well. We've got custom character roles, a speedrunning channel, and more to come. Would love if y'all can join because there's also a confirmed remastered version of Raskulls coming out soon. 16 years later, this game is going to get to live again. Actually insane. But I figured this would be a really good way to get the community in one space to really raise the skill ceiling. That's about it from my end. If you guys enjoyed this, be sure to like and sub for more content on goated indie games. Take care.